and do the intro.
Beaver, away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chris Cast. On one side, we have High Rises, Feila eSports, currently joint top of the table, and they are facing against I Came, I Saw, I Conquered, who we'll be calling V3. Have to ask though, Dum, are you your team's chosen? Are you a fist fighter? Do you step up to the plate when it comes to the heavy fist fight, or did you just let someone else take control?
Oh, I don't understand how melee physics works in this game. It's weird and dumb, and I mean, if the heavy mains know it, sure. If the market guard mains know it, sure. If the spy mains know it, understandable as well. But that's none of anything I do, so...
You know what, I'm glad you agree, because you know what, I don't know that. I don't know. It looks like it's going to be Jorge versus Py on B point, and I think they're just fighting for whoever is going to be attacking first, or deciding which side.
Well, looks like it would be TK instead. Trading blows so far. Py goes one down already. TK trades again, and Py comes out on top with the comeback. Maybe a sign of things to come here.
That's the first blow, and that's going on the side of Feila eSports, and looks like they want to defend first.
And so far that's been working here. They want this to shine through the offense here on Steel as well, and just get this going as quickly as they can. BBV will be seeing if they can step up to the task here with some mild roster changes as well, of course. Back and forth struggle on the demo moments there. Sammy out again. PC exploded, and Skyper is back to step up to the task here. Luckily, they have a competent demo man in the backlines ready to play as well. Good for them, but still obviously a little bit frustrating to have to deal with.
Definitely. I mean, roster changes, they can be a good thing if you find the right players. If you find the right players and everyone just gels together, it's a great thing. It can be a good boost for your team. You finally got that lineup that you want, and everyone's working like a well-oiled machine. All the cogs are turning in the right places at the right time. But changes at this point in the season, is week 4 now. Skyper did play for them in week 3. We'll have to see if there's going to be much adaptation required on a map like this, but this is going to be the season 23 week 4 match between Feila eSports and I Came, I Saw, I Conquered. We'll be calling them V3 for short. This is, of course, ETF2L Premiership Highlander. Both of these two teams will be fighting against each other to try and solidify their place towards the top of the table. Feila eSports are currently joint top with SCCK on the table. Their lineup is BB on Scout, Satan on Soldier, Grip is playing Pyro, Joe on Demo, Py on Heavy, Lilypad on Engineer, Layla Medic, Kuroi Sniper, and Axio Spy. While V3 over there attacking first in the blue have Logan on Scout, TK on Soldier, Delty on Pyro, Skyper on Demo, Blur on Heavy, Rambosaurus on Engineer, Jorge on Medic, Denker on Sniper, and Sneaky on Spy. And they're currently in 4th place here, Dum, and they'll definitely be looking to get points here to try and maybe just get into the playoffs before the final week.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Like we established, Feila will start off on the offense. Joe taunting around the corner, seeing if there's anything coming from the B spawn door, but as the story goes, we start off with 8, and most people don't like to defend these points as it goes. It's really awkward to defend, and you have little area to actually do much of anything effective from, so much like you would expect in most of any games here on Steel. Concede on A, you lose it in about like 20 to 40 seconds almost every time, 20 seconds on the dot here. In fact, going to let the round really start now.
I like how TK just looks like he's lost the plot a bit, just firing rockets around. But generally, there's the spy hiding on those rocks, trying to just give some information to his team. And it does look like a bit of a suicide wave coming in. Joe manages to take down 2 there. Heavy and Pyro taking out the equation. Logan and TK also can't get much done. But actually, a lot of players dying on the defense. Pyro, Demo, and Heavy. That's Grip, Joe, and Py taken out from that sack wave, and you can see the attacking side have much better spawns, and they're going to definitely come in here for a trade, and they're going to try and take the high ground. There is a teleporter up there, but there is no longer Satan, and Dum, this looks like going to have to be really passive, or they may even have to get out here.
Yeah, they are having to consider it, or at least try to fight through with maneuver, but there's not much you can do anymore. Try to get as much resistance out of this point as they can on B right now. The Uber will have to come out, however, and before in the corner. It's difficult to reach him, but not for the sniper. Kuroi somehow finds the angle just in time for the blue mat, disappears behind the corner, and what started out with well-played early aggression will just fall apart immediately, and Feila gets rewarded for trying to take up the fight now.
That is so huge. That is so huge. Kuroi with 2 huge kills. It takes down Logan, like point blank range almost, but dropping the medic there, like you said, that was a bit of a gamble. You know, if they defend there and they have a worse Uber, sometimes you can get caught in that choke point. That B spawn is just not going to be favorable to you because of the stairs. And the repush is coming in from V3 now. Again, they have the high ground. Dankra running that Huntsman is going to take down Poi. And actually, Lilypad is going to get taken down by Sneaky. So no NG, no Sentry. And that's a lot of defensive power gone. They're 5 down right now, Feila. And they're struggling. It's only really Satan and Koroi on the point. Layla trying to keep people alive with those arrows. And I think we have a pause right now.
Probably won't get very far. Much more so importantly, though, on the other side, on the soldiers, TK is so close to get to Layla already.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. If Layla is unaware that there's a soldier behind, even if she is aware, she's going to have to head directly towards the B spawn. I mean, there is a universe in which she just strafes to the right and serves the rocket up into the spawn and is absolutely fine. She is actually going to not do that and die. And TK gets both Layla and Satan. So 91% there. The death happens, and it's kind of a double-edged sword there because they're gonna have to give up B, and they may even have to give up more because Jorge is now at 100%, and they're gonna just try and snowball this onto the other points. Maybe do that old alphabetical push and go on to C next.
Yeah, even if you don't get it immediately, just a lot of pressure onto E means that people have to abandon position elsewhere to try to fight back. They have at least a gun in a little bit of an outlook position, but that's a known quantity as well here, so either way will work. For now, they just send bodies towards C, just take the straight up approach, but so does Feila. They know they're coming here, so they want to fight back if they can, but so many down already. Flank just completely decimated. Grip all the way forward alone, and Layla has nothing left standing to really try to fight for the C point anymore, so valid decision to try to fight back on C a little bit, but they just didn't have enough bite with the lack of positioning they had.
I like the rare kill icon there from Delty, getting the reflect non-crit rocket kill onto the sentry gun. I just think it's a little bit irresponsible there. Koroi and Joe both going down. Sniper and Demo very, very powerful in holding these angles and holding these chokes. And if you let those players die, when you have an Uber disad, you don't really have anyone to deny the pressure. You can see how much cap time, 50% already done by V3 on E point, and it does look like C is going to go down fairly simply. Uber still not used by Jorge. That's allowed Layla to get up to 85%, but now they've just have the 2 points. And just take a look at where Skyper and Delty are leading their team. Going up behind Layla, 93% is going to get taken down by Skyper. Was not in a position to survive there, and again, they're just crumbling here right now, Feila. They just don't seem to be in control of any of their positions. Koroi does get the kill onto Dankra, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to just steal this out within the next minute or so.
Yeah, really, really good momentum all the way by B3. Really smart rotation all the way through White Room into D here from C. Really long way to go, but they made sure they had the area to cover there, to get there quickly, get all these points going. And while obviously you can argue that it's a bit of time waste to cap all these points, it just makes the final push here all that easier. The spawns for Feila are now horrendously slow and most notably also far back now from where they need to be. So long distance to cover here for them to get there, have some position towards the connector area here, but they still have to have enough to battle, go their way. Just gotta play it safe around 12 Uber, and this should be a wrap in little more than a minute at this point.
They are losing some players here. Actually getting 3 kills there, and they're probably getting the kill onto Blur. The Uber's going to be used by V3 here into the BC connector, just trying to get the kills. The thing is, if you had somebody on the point already, that cap would have been going down very, very quickly, but as it is, they're just getting a ton of damage, and they're losing players. Jorge, Skyper, all going down here. They're going to have instant respawns, but they didn't get enough cap time while forcing people into that BC connector, and Layla now has 90%. Again, Dankra getting these arrow kills onto Poi must be very frustrating to be a heavy and seeing, you know, just an arrow flying towards your head, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I do think Feila are regaining some semblance of control of this side of the map, and maybe this isn't going to be as over as quickly as we thought.
That was really unfortunate for Logan as well. He was a little bit indecisive if he wants to be part of the push or part of the cap time here. Was just a little bit in between and was too late to save the medic in the end on the combo, but also didn't get any cap time to pressure more on the E point. So in the end, both of those is just kind of huge mistakes for them here, coming through to haunt them quite nicely now, in Feila's favor that is. They're going to be sitting here pretty sure that the last hold never favors you too much on the defense at all when he gets capped, but they have everyone up. They can defend this as well as you can given the situation here, as long as they don't just get out DM'd. This might still get some huge amounts of time for them here if it goes well. Hawker catching up on the Uber, of course, still has slight advantage at the very least here to take a fight, but nothing really to cross over all the way to where Layla is holding with the rest of their team to take a huge winning fight, I would assume.
Yeah, the fact that D has been capped means the spawns are very, very bad for Feila in terms of where they can rotate to. This early Uber, though, taking onto DuMmTm, just trying to push, maybe make some space in this BC connector. But again, Jorge is killed on the retreat. Skyper is going to get some kills. He can take down Joe, and getting a bunch of damage onto the combo, just trying to lock down this connector by himself while his team is capping. But it's only Logan and Denker, and there we go. The pressure from Axio and Poi is going to be enough to clear the presence off of that point. And that's the thing, it's all about making sure you have people blocking the defensive side from getting access to the point, but you also need people on the point, and it's just caught in between two worlds at the moment. But Feila are losing people quite quickly here. Layla down to about 7 HP, but boy, Satan, they're all getting kills, and they're just buying more and more time, and this must be frustrating for V3, because this looks certainly to be a fast time, but it's just taking longer. Boy's on a 6 kill streak, no one is taking him down, he is just shooting this minigun for days.
It just comes down equal parts to positioning and DM here. And Feila just has enough to keep holding on to this for as long as they can. Kappa is escaping them, but the Eva is just finally here. Poi living forever makes Layla live forever too in the same process here, and in the end they're just sitting in connector forever to just flash off the point once more, end the cap and for another few seconds, get something up again. Mini on point, Heaven in control here while the rest of the combo outside the flank is sitting in connector still, and just like you said, making it really difficult to get up to the point right now. Jorge obviously not having any Evo to speak of right now either. Even after the Evo comes out, it's still disadvantage on the blue side. They have so many things to overcome right now, and it's just been much too messy here. No decisive push. Even just Poise, the ability to live forever there is just really like showing of what's happening here. They just don't have one cohesive push that's really gonna take care of everything.
Poi's still alive on a 7 kill streak, 10 kill streak for Layla. She hasn't died for a while either, and Kuroi is just hitting headshot after headshot and taking down crucial players. Again, Logan there dying to the flare gun. TK gets taken down by BB, and it just seems that, you know, on this point, if you have the D point capped when you're on blue side, then it's very simple to just get all of your players together and re-push and, you know, seal it out. Skype is cut off from the rest of his team here as the Uber's used, so DuMmTm not being able to do much with this. They're trying to block this BC connector again, but they just don't get people on the point quick enough. Poi is going to take down Blur. Poi still not dying here, nearly on a 10 kill streak, and this is where the repush comes in, because Joe is just going to rain stickies down on that point and make it very difficult for them to get any more cap time.
Yeah, E-Control just looks really sketchy. This more looks like a team desperately trying to push AE than a team that has 4 points capped up already. Finally, however, the repush will get stopped. No one's allowed to get through the door. Positioning finally confident enough by BBV to flush everyone out that tries to get back into the point here. Might be good enough, but it was such a struggle. It's not even over. Grip comes in as the Pyro wants to get the funny Ablas. Unfortunately, there's a bad fence to the point, so no more pit deaths other than the one by Delta, I believe it was, way earlier into this fight here. But this was just such a struggle. Like I said, this just remained to look like a complete AE push that just didn't work out more than a team that should have had a lot more control.
I mean, when you consider what the first, up to D, it was 4 minutes, something like that. It's taken them like over, you know, twice the amount for the first to just get that last point. And that is a very interesting thing, because once you've captured, and, you know, for those of you watching who aren't fully aware of the mechanics of Steel, the more points you capture as the attacking team, the more benefits you get and the more detrimental effects happen to the defending team. So, you know, once you've captured the C point, you get the bridges extended to E, and, you know, the enemy team has longer respawn. Once you've captured C, essentially when you're attacking, you have instant respawn with 20 to 25 seconds for the defenders. So the fact that they had D point capped, which locks down that E side spawn, means you have to rotate all the way around the map to even get access to E. It just seemed that they felt it was nearly done and then just kept feeding. But we'll have to see what Feila do on the attack. We know that they can do fast times in the history of this team. Jorge was running the crits and put some interesting stickies there with Skyper on the White Room mini.
Sometimes these can obviously work, and with crit stickies especially, you can at least put up some more. That's the one benefit, to maybe fake out people a little bit more. But the second they see it is a crit sticky anywhere and it doesn't get any results, then you just know there's 8 more somewhere else, or 7 more, I suppose, just hiding. So you are probably, the second you know it is crit stickies, a lot more careful regardless, and that just kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. If they are seeing any one of them, all the other ones are kind of game over as well. So here they go, trying to take this quick into E as they like to go with this as well. Feila traditionally likes to have a lot of pressure through E. Even if they end up capping every point, they like to take the pressure through E first, set up towards the connector area. Having the connector area is huge, and they are just allowed to walk in the coffer completely free with no contention so far. And having this room to yourself is nice, because if you're just on E still, the threat of it being juggled on the point by pyros and projectiles is so huge. But they're just sitting back towards C now, and there's just no threat to die to that at all.
That was really good positioning. The execution just wasn't quite there. Joe is starting to get some kills here and some damage. Just take down Blair as well, which is pretty huge. Poi is coming in late to the fight, is burning to death. Very, very weak, getting some arrows, but eventually will take another arrow and goes down to Denkra. So they had such a brilliant positioning there. The fact that they're completely uncontested, but they lost too many players. DuMmTm, very, very weak, will die eventually to the Cow Mangler of all things. And it does look like this is just going to be an AE cap here. Kroy with the kill onto Skyper is huge, and it's going to be a big, big arsenal. Lilypad with that sentry and that teleporter up in heaven. V3 are going to struggle to contest this. Like, I can't find a way they can get through other than the spawn door.
One way or another will need to super, and that's still a few seconds away here. So Feila's approach is to say, well, without pressure, they are not going to contest us on connector, so we just walk in there for free, next leveling them a little bit here to get free space just like that. Worked out quite well so far. So much cap, and they want to deal with the combo. They have to deal with the combo, because if they just go point, this will happen. Joan just pushes straight back into a team that has to go to point and can't fight them, and that's just complete disaster for VVD there.
It could be over. Denkra has something to say about that, trying his hardest to block the point from spawn, but Joe is just rotating with those heals and just getting it. You see TK there, doesn't care about the players in front. Oh, no, DuMmTm with the flare drop actually gets on some point and saves it for a little bit longer.
A few people still pitted Skypers waiting for any help at all, but just concedes anyway. No arrow gonna come to him anywhere sooner. 3 pit deaths we're on right now. Back that forward Sneaky just walking off, misplaces himself a little bit there next to the point. Walks off there, unfortunately, but despite that, they're still holding onto it just barely, but I don't know if barely is good enough right now. They're slowly just taking space on B as well. They know how much time they have to spare as well out of their last hold the last time around here. They can just take B for free now and just make it work from here. Instead, sure, they got dangerously close, and making it still work from here quickly would be nice, but they are on no timer whatsoever so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's a conscious decision, but they were all in the spawn and they've rotated all the way back towards where C is now, and they've totally given up E. It's just Rambo there going in, and we'll just get gunned down by Poi. And that's the thing, once B is capped, that B spawn teleports you to the other spawn, because that spawn is no longer available. It does mean that Feila do get a bit more E cap time, but because of the rotation required to defend E, C is now open, and they're going to happily get some cap time there. Just over 5 minutes to go. It has taken them quite some time to get to this point, but when you've got that much time to play with on the attack, you know, you can go for an AE attempt to just see what happens.
The spy just walks in there, everyone on the combo just completely asleep on the wheel. No one saw the spy coming. Sneaky gets the free kill on the medic there, just presented him on a silver platter. That is the point, and there you go. If there's a chance, they've miraculously held on to E just now for as long as they could. The rest of the map is going to make this a little bit harder now with a lot more points capped already. C now wrapped up as well. D maybe as long as they can't fight this quickly, but they have a fighting chance.
They have a fighting chance, but they're losing players here. Skyper dying to reflect their TK, Delty all down as well, and those are players that you really kind of want alive to defend. The Uber is going to come in on Rambo of all things, Engineer, taking the shotgun to his hands and just trying to go towards Layla, but there's just not enough players, just not enough firepower for them to stop this. Jorge will go down to Satan, and with only 4 players alive, most of those respawners who are a bit far away from the point to get anything done. Feila starting to pile on this E point now, and it's looking pretty bad news for V3.
Alright, the spawns are now obviously terrible. 10 seconds still left for the combo here. Skyper Blur just died. 20 seconds for anyone else that just taken down in this fight by Joan and the mini sentry. Not up for a long time here, and probably too long in fact as well. The cap point will maybe slow cap a lot of the times, but just fast enough here to wrap things up. Almost a shame the immediate E cap here didn't quite work for them, because they put on a clinic to try to make this work. This was almost textbook stuff to just make this an AE push.
It was so close. It was so close. I mean, we're talking maybe 2, even 3 seconds, and that cap would have been done. It would have been over. It was extremely close.
All right, here's round 2. As it goes, 1 win on the first of this best of 3 will guarantee you 2 sweet and easy points on the ETF2L table, so Feila one step closer to just reaching as much points as they can to try to keep the spot on the top alive as much as they can here, given how SECK performs, of course. VVV, there's still 4 points left to go, obviously, in this game here if they just win back-to-back the next 2 rounds here. And with just a cleaner E, this is certainly possible. This looked competent by all means at the beginning of this, and I mean, they still miraculously managed to pull out a good defense against what was a really, really strong push either way, so there is definitely a chance for them here.
Absolutely. I mean, at the moment, Feila want to get as many points as possible because they're tied on points with SECK. There will be a tiebreaker in terms of the head-to-head if they are level at the end of the season. So they'll be wanting to try and get that top spot. They have one more game right in the last week against Bad Dragons, but V3, they will be looking at this match and thinking we need to get points here if we have a chance of breaking into that top 3 because Envision and Bad Dragons are lurking around there. They are starting on the defense this time around in the red, and Feila will be trying to set as fast a time. And it'll be interesting to see if they go for the AE again here, Dom, because some teams like to do that once they know the time that is there, but other teams, you know, they don't want to do it first off, you know. But it does look like Layla's heading towards A, so.
I mean, at very least, they are always keen for a distraction much more than VVV seems to have been, and just make this work from there, even if they end up capping B like last time. However, this time around, they need to make the call on what will actually be the plan here long term a lot sooner. Sure, last time they had the time to spare, and maybe it's not too unreasonable to assume you might again this time, but you can't know for sure, so you just need to make the safe plays on your first offense, I think, more often than not.
Absolutely. Denker actually taking a peek from the spawn there, but again, it does seem like the rotation is very, very slow. Joe is the first one to get into that doorway, and there we go. Boy, Satan both getting kills here on the flank. Sneaky's also going to get cleaned out, so there is no comms in terms of the satellite spy giving.
But he's just going to flank them now. This is just so much damage. But don't already take on the Pyro already. DuMmTm incredibly weak. That's the Uber to just follow up on that. No Pyro, no problem. Straight in there for grip to make the rest of this Uber be forced out as well. And this is so many kills already. Really, really clean start. You can juggle Joe away, but if he's not dead, he's just going to rotate on you.
Yeah, they're just forced back now, and Joe is in this area. He's in between B and C. He's in this area where, you know, he's not exposed to any sort of threat, and he can just shoot stickies onto that little choke area. He's going so far forward, takes down Denker and Blair with the pipes, and he doesn't die for it. He's not getting punished at all for this aggression, and V3 just don't seem to know where they want to hold or what they can do. I mean, at the moment, nothing's happening unless that E point is being pressured. Finally, they get a couple of players on it, but they're trying to defend it from the spawn door now.
Yeah, it just goes to show. People are holding the BC connector on the defensive side a lot. Why not do it on the offense as well, to your own advantage here, to get a lot of presence towards E? It's a really, really smart move. Not the most recent development, but certainly somewhat newish for sure in the metagame here, and you love to see it. It's worked really well. They have to fall back a little bit now, played safe, but probably for good reason, as the Uber's coming in. Waleda can't really respond with one, but they need to get out of there first of all, and they're getting a lot of work done, but not enough, because the captain is just running away from them.
Oh, wow. They use the Uber there, but they just get destroyed. Grip pushes them into the pit. I don't know how many pit kills that was done. You're the pit master here.
Ooh, I need the Twitch chat to tell me. This is highly important information for relevant statistics. So if you're in the Twitch chat and saw how many pit deaths that was, please message me on this web zone as we go into the second half of round 2. And with a 2-14, VVV is forced to take this into E as well immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue, and that's why, you know, attacking first, you can do that sort of thing. If you set such a fast time, you know what your opponent is going to have to do, because, you know, if V3 go for B even once and fail, then they've wasted so much time that Feila can just rotate, sit on E, knowing that there's nothing that they could be doing. So a big ask here from V3. 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Obviously not impossible. We've seen teams break down times like this, but oh boy, they're going to be rocking right now. They're going to be under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, this is full pressure for VVV now. They have everything to lose here. There's 4 points still to gain if they just want to win at least a single round. That's even 2 at that point. Better than nothing, and they desperately need anything they can, but they have their backs against the wall. The only way forward is right into E here. A point not even capped, only 2 minutes left. This has to go really, really fast. And I mean, it's going to be difficult as well. Feila has to expect this to happen. They can't completely abandon B immediately, of course. You can't just give them all the free space there either, but the moment nothing happens for a second, they will just rotate immediately. You can already see the move being made here before the door even opens into the White Room.
Yeah, quite aggressive here actually from some of the players. I mean, Poi is playing on the E side, Nice shot by Kuroi to take down DuMmTm. Taking out the Pirate out of this equation is going to be very, very big because not going to be able to have much control over BC. And they are in deep hit. Kuroi does go down. It hasn't been used by the side. Boy actually gets caught up by Rambasaur, but Skyper gets pushed into the pit.
This is so unfortunate, but it just shows how powerful this position is, right? Feila used it on the offense to great effect, and more traditionally you see it on the defense as well, and it's just such a nice spot to be in, regardless of what point you're actually trying to defend here, because people have to often cross past this area here. The gun is covering the point, and while that's the case as well, the sniper has the sight from both spawn and the connector area to just rain down hellfire on the cap there. Rambo can't even set up a gun in peace as well. Well, Crory is watching that, and it's just gonna lead to all the time being wasted here, and they have none left to spare.
Yeah, I mean, you see the pace of the rotation from Feila. They had their entire team set up in that BC connector, and Lily bringing that sentry to watch the point is huge. That's what V3 weren't doing, and they just didn't have that presence to push people away. And you can see it's just impossible for the likes of Skyper and Blur to get any sort of pressure into that area, and they need to clear that area out, because if they don't, the people on the point cannot cap, and it is going to be a GG now because it takes at least 40 seconds to capture that final point. And yeah, V3 just do not have the players, the personnel, or even the time to get anyone even close to getting that cap finished. And it's going to be 6 points to Feila, Dum. I mean, is that a surprise to you? Or after that first round, this second round has been kind of got in the blink of an eye?
I mean, they might have just needed a little bit of warm-up here, and even then, it was not a bad start to the first round as well, despite the sketchy beginnings. Maybe certainly still completely played by all means, even if it took a little bit longer than they really wanted to, but this just goes to show how good these strats are and how good are they at executing them as well here.
That's the great thing about Highlander. There is still the rest of Steel Week to go. The rest of the Prem teams will be getting some points for themselves, and then we'll have the final week where those positions will be decided, who will be the top seed, who else will get into playoffs, and who will be relegated. But Dum, thank you for joining me, and ArchRhythm, thank you very much for doing the production amazingly as always.
And obviously, you cannot forget a lot more TF2 to come. You mentioned season's not over yet, week is not over. Like you said, Bad Dragons left a game to play here on Thursday that will be covered on Critcast as well. Yeah.
So there's so much to look forward to. If you're like me and you're stuck in lockdown and you're looking for games to play and games to watch, why look anywhere else other than TF2 at the moment? Thank you very much for everybody who was watching, and of course to all of the supporters of the channel. This was the Week 4 game between Feila eSports and IK Mysore Conquered. They did not conquer this time around. Feila eSports taking all 6 points. We'll be back on Thursday with Envision versus Bad Dragons, once again on CP Steel. I hope you all have a great night.
Twitch Prime.
Hi, old beaver! Away!